Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. This is a pivotal time in the evolution of the cryptocurrency market. XRP's legacy is now firmly established. In the United States, XRP has the most definitive legal status of any cryptocurrency with significant market capitalization. However, this has far-reaching consequences. Of course, as XRP holders, this is of utmost importance to us, but I imagine that the vast majority, if not all, of the listeners here also have other cryptocurrencies in their possession. That means the rest of creation is still being attacked. However, XRP's historic significance as the first large-cap coin in the US to be determined to not be a security is having profound consequences on Capitol Hill right now. And I'm showing them to you because the idea that you'll just walk in, talk to us for a few minutes, register, and then you won't see us for another 2.5 years is, well, ridiculous. Additionally, the SEC's position, which they are promoting without explicitly stating, is that the assets themselves are securities. That is exactly what they have been advocating for. That's becoming obsolete. Thanks to the SEC versus Ripple litigation, Judge Torres' ruling, and the events that followed, you may witness for yourself. We owe a debt of gratitude to the almost 76,000 members of the XRP community who rallied behind the legal team led by attorney John Dean. So, this is a definite in addition to that. Therefore, XRP has advanced considerably further back in time. In other words, decades from now, historians and academics will be discussing this event and its significance. In addition, I believe it will be generally acknowledged that this was the point at which things began to change, turn, and we began to finally obtain the clarity that we deserved. And that, I believe, will ultimately lead to something far more desirable. Acceptance, which includes the movement of cryptocurrency prices. I've talked to Ron Hammond, the Director of Government Relations for various blockchain associations, and he's given me some insight into the newest developments, which I'll share with you now. He filled us in on the newest events from yesterday and other happenings around the house this morning. I am not a financial expert and am not giving any sort of financial advice, so let me make that perfectly clear before I go any further. And you know that you shouldn't make any financial decisions based on what I say, right? I'm merely a hobbyist who finds fun in discussing cryptography in the form of YouTube videos. But only as a pastime and for entertainment purposes. Oh, and by the way, one thing I'm going to talk about in this video is the idea that it's not partisan politics, and I'll probably do it somewhere in the middle of the video or towards the beginning. That's the rub when it comes to getting things done in Congress, and it's not only a generational gap between Republicans and Democrats, as some have suggested. And it appears that view is shared generally. I disagree with the idea, but haven't come across much opposition to it. And as we go along, I'll explain why. The United States House Agriculture Committee approves cryptocurrency measure, according to Coin-Inform Cointelegraph Pro. The United States House of Representatives Agricultural Committee debated the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act on July 20th. The committee's deliberations were marked by a high degree of tact. Damn it, this doesn't exactly flow off the tongue, can we just have it shorter and assign it a number even? The committee swiftly and quietly approved a number of revisions despite these heated exchanges, thanks in large part to the members' frequent and effusive praise of one another's collaboration and their own efforts. The bill, which was authored by Republicans on the Agriculture and Financial Services Committees, aims to establish uniform guidelines for the regulation of digital assets. And again, I'm telling you, folks, the reason this has gotten so far in the House is not because it has passed the House, that will come later, if it passes at all. At the very least, I have high hopes for the House. I dunno, let's see what Biden does after the Senate approves it. But once more, the root cause of this extreme event. The winds are at our backs, and I believe that sentiment is shared by our elected officials in Congress. Our storyline completely collapsed with Judge Torres' ruling. The article proceeds. It was one of 3 legislation discussed the day before in the Financial Services Committee. Democratic worries were voiced by Ranking Member David Scott, who said that the package needs stronger consumer protections. He noted that there was no provision for independent audits, but I wanted to reference a recent breakdown for reference. Ron Hammond says this. Again. At the Blockchain Association, he oversees all governmental relations. The following vote summary on crypto legislation was written by him. If you haven't watched the 20-plus hour-long series on crypto legislation that various voted on, you're missing out. You need to read this summary. This whole week has been full with surprises. First on the legislative agenda is the Market Structure Bill, also known as the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act. Oh, I see, that's simpler. It's not the Financial Innovation and Technology Act for the 21st century, rather, it's a measure pertaining to market structure. That's almost as difficult to articulate as two men with wild and wacky arm-flailing inflatables, loved ones were referred to. In any case, he shows no signs of stopping. The Financial Committee voted in favor of this bill by a score of 35 to 15. House Agriculture, GOP, so it's the House, with 6 Democrats joining the Republicans in support. That group is the House Agriculture Committee, to be precise. The same law was voted out with minimal opposition, so this is the GOP. Fitch 21 should be disregarded. So this is the Market Structure Bill Ganser is, and I love it. This is also why I said at the beginning of the movie that the judgment from Judge Torres is directly responsible for what is occurring now. I appreciate it when people say things like that. Here you go, XRP holder, thanks a lot. With 6 Democrats rejecting his no legislation is necessary stance, Fit 21 Gebser is continuing to lose the argument that all tokens are securities. I'm going to come back to the idea that age is still an indicator of usefulness as a framework later on. I disagree with this on the whole, albeit not altogether. I have to disentangle the parts. There is complexity here. Bill 2, he continues, will provide regulatory certainty for stable currency payments. What was supposed to be a compromise between Republican Patrick McHenry and leading Democrat Maxine Waters revealed itself to be a dramatic impasse due to politics and the White House getting in the way. All Republicans and 5 Democrats voted in favor of the stablecoin bill, despite some tense times. Maxine Waters, it has been noted, has claimed in the past that she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about when it comes to crypto, so we'll pause for that. She referred to Bitcoin as Bitcom, and he said, you've got to love it that Bitcoin, and then avec Vidcom it's for illegal this and that. No one in their right mind would believe these idiots. But they certainly wield a great deal of influence, don't they? Ron Hammonds keeps draining secure digital currencies. At this point, the White House probably wouldn't have protested. If they truly believed this bill had no chance of being passed, they would have already done so. The White House has objections, so the fact that 5 Democrats have joined the Republicans is noteworthy, especially considering that many are senior members of both parties. This is important to keep in mind because it is abundantly clear that the current administration is waging an all-out assault against cryptocurrency, beginning at the top. Those who disagree with the party line must feel strongly that they are right, else they would not do so. This may lessen partisanship to some extent, depending on how much of a green thumb they have, but it is still partisanship. Oh, you're going to go back to the left, because there are claims that age is related to this, and I only agree with some of them. But, Ron Hammond keeps going. Republican Majority Whip is Tom Emmer. Tom Winter Wimmer claims that he was tagged in this location. Warren Davidson and Tom Emmer introduced the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act. The Keep It Act was approved, but only along party lines. Partisanship for these crypto OGS is evident, as they, together with Darren Soto's representative, established the framework for the FIT Act, also known as the Market Structure Act, and have since shifted their focus to other issues, such as self-custody. Just so you know, this only occurred at the committee level. The legislation now need to be brought to a vote on the House floor, which should occur in the fall. Overall, Representative Richie Torres, Democrat California, put it best when he remarked, "Regulation by enforcement not only had a bad day in the courts but also had a bad day in Congress." This is an accurate statement with which most people would agree. After 13 hours of markup, here is what Eleanor Turret has to report: payment stablecoin clarity. With a vote of 3,419 to 2, this bill became the second major piece of crypto legislation to pass the Financial Services Committee of the GOP this week. That was retweeted by Paul Gray, chief legal officer at Coinbase, who agreed that it was a significant vote for U.S. investors' rights. When they put the needs of the American people first, Democrats and Republicans can work together effectively. Here is the viewpoint of Justin Slaughter, Director of Policy at Paradigm. He shared a tweet from lawyer Jake Stravinsky. "This is a watershed moment in crypto policy," as noted by Jake Stravinsky. The financial sector just advanced the 21st century enabling legislation with a vote of 35 to 15, with considerable backing from Democrats in the House. This sends a clear message of support across the political spectrum for sensible regulation of digital assets. Also, I find that to be quite effective. Not to detract from that, but I will mention in a bit that there is obvious partisanship at play here. However, Justin Slaughter retweeted that and included the ages, in decimal format, of the 6 Democrats who supported the bill: 3541, 4748, 50, and 57. The median age is so calculated to be 46. He goes on to note that the average age of the other Democrats on the House Financial Services Committee is 61 years old. The average age of Democrats who supported the measure was 46, while that of the rest of the population was 61. That's why that area is unfilled. Don't pretend otherwise. What's more, he elaborates more than anyone else. The perspectives of Democratic members of Congress on crypto and the necessity for crypto legislation are shaped by the members' ages. Representative Torres, who is apparently unrelated to Judge Torres, argues that the age gap at play here is more significant than any partisan differences. To be honest, I have to say that I disagree. Because, I'll admit it, if we're being honest, I think we'd all agree on this. In general, younger generations are more open to new forms of technology. Not that anyone should be surprised by that. As you advance in years, you become increasingly rigid in your habits. Those in the audience now range in age from the 50s to the 80s. In fact, I took note of it because of the included demographic data. So it's not that there's nobody forward-thinking in those age categories. Some of you listening are probably in those age ranges yourselves. So, props to you for being alert and understanding all this. I'm only pointing out that, generally speaking, younger people are more receptive to new technologies, and I think we can all agree that this makes sense. That seems to have some merit. It's not only a generational gap, but there's obviously more going on here. If it were just a generational gap, you'd see it on the Republican side, too. The fact that you don't suggests it's a party separation, though. It's also a difference in worldviews across generations. It's all just numbers, after all. How come virtually all Republicans support these policies? What proportion of Democrats don't fit that description? Maybe it's because of the partisan division that's permeated the government from the top down. Could they simply be following the party line, as politicians often do? This is how it appears to me at the moment. Thanks to the Democrats who reached across the aisle and were able to negotiate a compromise on this issue. This is a perfectly logical position to take. What I mean to say is that it is both. Although I recognize the need of considering generational differences, I cannot accept that there is no partisanship at play. The level of partisanship is high. Plenty of it is available. Scripts are leaking out of the walls. This way, I can get a sense of the general consensus among you. You may be interested to hear that Attorney Deaton praised Representative Richie Torres, who was the author of the blistering letter criticizing Gary Gensler. Plus, he wasn't even specifically requesting anything. And I checked the highlight reel, which spanned a few days or a week, I forget. In fact, I found it so entertaining that I read it cover to cover. In all honesty, you were just having a horrible day, and he was just digging. As a result, Attorney Deaton penned Outstanding Young Politician, Integrity, and Representative Tours. Since this isn't a political channel, I'm going to applaud those who do pro-crypto stuff and speak out against those who do anti-crypto stuff regardless of party affiliation, which is why I was so critical of the Republicans the other day, despite the fact that there are more of them who are pro-crypto than there are on the Democratic side. In contrast, other people, like Cynthia Loomis, seem to have developed a quick and strong pro-crypto posture in the past few months. In contrast, she argued, it appears that virtually everything other than Bitcoin is a security if one looks back to December of last year. She may not have used the term Bitcoins, but the implication is clear. To be honest, I don't consider that to be a commodity, but if I were wrong, what else could there be? So I take a look at that, and then all of a sudden, without warning, she completely changes her mind. What the heck are you up to, you sneaky little rat? That's why I'm watching her closely. Thankfully, it seems like she's changed her mind. However, once again, politics are irrelevant. Just looking for any pro-crypto arguments. Know of someone's other political leanings, I will praise that and publicly oppose anyone who takes an anti-crypto stance. The world works that way. No, I don't give out financial advice. Nothing I say should be used as a basis for a purchase or sale. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.